Hello students, today we are going to start chapter 10, that is reaching the age of adolescence. And in this chapter you will learn about various changes that take place in the human body after which a person becomes capable of reproduction. And along with that we will be discussing the role of hormones in bringing about those changes that make a child grow into an adult. So let's start with the chapter. First of all, we will be discussing about adolescence. The period of life when the body undergoes certain changes which leads to reproductive maturity is called adolescence. This period begins around the age of 11 years and lasts up to 18 or 19 years of age. Since this period covers the teens, the boys or girls ranging from age 13 to 18 or 19 years, so the adolescents are also called teenagers. In girls, adolescence period may begin a year or two earlier than in boys. Then we have puberty. The human body undergoes several changes during adolescence period. So these changes mark the onset of puberty. The most important change which marks puberty is that boys and girls become capable of reproduction because their reproductive organs are fully developed. Puberty ends when an adolescent reaches reproductive maturity. Now let's discuss about some changes that occur at the onset of puberty. First is increase in height, then we have change in body shape, and there is one change in voice also. Then we have increased activity of sweat and sebaceous glands, followed by development of sex organs, and in the last we have reaching mental, intellectual and emotional maturity. And now we will be discussing these changes in detail. So let's start with increase in height. The most conspicuous change during puberty is the sudden increase in height. At this time, the long bones, that is, the bones of arms and the legs, elongate and makes a person tall. Height depends on the genes inherited from parents. You must have noticed that height of an individual is more or less similar to that of same family member. So we can say that genes inherited from parents determine our height also. So it is important to eat the right kind of food during these growing years so that the bones, muscles, and other parts of the body get adequate nourishment for growth. The table on the right gives the average rate of growth in height of boys and girls along with their age. The figures in column 2 and 3 give the percentage of the height a person has reached at the age given in column 1. So it is considered as a standard. So if you want to calculate the full height of any person in centimeters, you can calculate it with the given formula. So calculation for full height in centimeter is equal to present height of that person in centimeter divided by percentage of full height at this age, that is given in the chart, multiplied by 100. So let's take an example. A boy is 9 years old and is 120 centimeter tall. So at the end of the growth period, he is likely to be 160 centimeter tall. And how we have calculated this? We have taken the present height, that is 120 centimeter already given. Then we have divided it with 75, that is the percentage of full height at 9 years of age. And we have taken this from the chart. Then we have multiplied this with 100 and we have received 160 centimeter height. So with this formula you can calculate the full height of any person in centimeters. Now we have change in body shape. When we talk about boys, their shoulder becomes broader and the chest becomes wider. The muscles of the body grow prominently in case of boys, and when we talk about girls, the region below the waist becomes wider and the muscles of the body don't grow very prominently. Then we have voice change. At puberty, the voice box or the larynx begins to grow, and in boys, it develops larger voice boxes. The growing voice box can be seen as a protruding part of the throat called Adam's apple, and it is given in figure 10.2. Boys have a deep and hoarse voice as the larynx is properly developed, and the larynx is visible very clearly in boys. When we talk about girls, the larynx is hardly visible from the outside, and girls have a high pitched voice. Then we have increased activity of sweat and sebaceous glands. The secretion of sweat glands and sebaceous glands, that are also called oil glands, increases during puberty period. Many young people get acne and pimples on the face at this time because of the increased activity of these glands in the skin. Depending on the ducts, there are two types of glands. First are the duct glands and second are the ductless glands. The examples of duct glands include sweat glands, oil glands, and salivary glands. Sweat glands produce sweat, oil glands release various types of oils in the skin, and salivary glands are responsible for the production of saliva. These glands release their secretions through ducts, so that is why they are called duct glands. And when we talk about ductless glands, these type of glands release hormones directly into the bloodstream. They don't have any duct. And example include endocrine glands. Then we have development of sex organs. In boys, during puberty period, the testes and penis develop completely, and the testes also begin to produce the male gamete that is called sperm. And in girls, the ovaries enlarge and eggs begin to mature. And also, ovaries start releasing the female gametes called eggs. In the last, we will be discussing about mental, intellectual, and emotional maturity. During puberty period, it is the time in one's life when the brain has the greatest capacity for learning because it has attained mental maturity. The change in a person's way of thinking is called intellectual maturity. The person feels more independent than before and also becomes self conscious. And in the last, a person may feel insecure while trying to adjust the changes in the body and mind because they are not aware of all these changes. So, there is lack of emotional maturity also. Now, let's discuss about some secondary sexual characters. In boys, they begin to grow facial hair, that is, mustaches and beard. The hairs also begin to grow on the chest, under the arms, and the region above the thighs or the pubic region. As these features help to distinguish the male from the female, so they are called secondary sexual characters. In girls, the breasts begin to develop, the hairs begin to grow on the chest, under the arms, and the region above the thighs or the pubic region. So, as these features help to distinguish male from the female, so they are called secondary sexual characters. Now we have hormones. The changes which occur at adolescence are basically controlled by some chemical substances that are released in the blood called hormones. Hormones are secretions from the endocrine glands that are the ductless glands. In boys, the testes begin to release male hormone, which is also called testosterone, and this hormone is responsible for hair growth. And in girls, the ovaries begin to produce the female hormone called estrogen, which makes the breast develop. And along with that, milk secreting glands or the mammary glands also develop inside the breast. The production of these hormones is under the control of another hormone in endocrine gland called pituitary gland, and this gland is responsible for the production of all other hormones in a body. So now let's discuss the role of hormones in initiating reproductive function. Hormones from pituitary gland stimulates the testes and ovaries, that are the male and female reproductive organs, to release testosterone in males and estrogen in females. Then when these hormones are released into the bloodstream, they reach parts of the body in which they have to function. So those parts of the body are specific and they are called target sites. On reaching the target sites, these hormones stimulate changes in the body at onset of puberty. So this is how hormones play an important role in initiating reproductive function in humans. Next, let's discuss about reproductive phase of life in humans. In females, the reproductive phase of life begins at puberty, that is 10 to 12 years of age, and generally lasts till the age of approximately 45 to 50 years of age. During this reproductive phase, one ovum matures and is released by one of the ovaries once in every 28 to 30 days. During this period, the wall of uterus becomes thick so as to receive the egg in case it is fertilized and begins to develop. This results in pregnancy. But in case the egg is not fertilized, the fertilization does not occur by due to some means, the released egg and the thickened lining of the uterus along with its blood vessels are shed off. This causes bleeding in women, which is called menstruation. Menstruation occurs once in about 28 to 30 days, and the first menstruational flow begins at puberty and is termed as menarche. At 45 to 50 years of age, the menstruational cycle stops, and this stoppage of menstruational cycle is called menopause. Menstruation cycle is again controlled by hormones. Then in the last we have how is the sex of the baby determined, whether the child is boy or girl. Inside the fertilized egg or zygote is present the thread-like structures called chromosomes, which helps in determining the sex of the baby. These chromosomes are present inside the nucleus of every cell, and all humans have 23 pairs of chromosomes in the nuclei of their cell. And out of these 23 pairs of chromosomes, two chromosomes are called sex chromosomes named X and Y. A female has two X chromosomes while a male has one X and one Y chromosome. So during fertilization, the gametes, egg and sperm, both have only one set of chromosomes. The unfertilized egg always has one X chromosome. When we talk about sperm, sperms are of two kinds. One kind has an X chromosome and the other kind has a Y chromosome. When a sperm containing X chromosome fertilizes the egg, the zygote would have two X chromosomes and develop into a female child having two X chromosomes. And if the sperm contributes a Y chromosome to the egg at fertilization step, so the zygote would develop into a male child having X and Y chromosomes. This can be seen with the help of figure 10.4. You can see there are two eggs having X chromosome each, and as we have already studied that sperms are of two types, one having Y chromosome and one having X chromosome. So if during fertilization Y chromosome of sperm is fused with X chromosome of egg, then it will lead to the production of boy having X and Y chromosomes. And if both X chromosomes are fused together, it will be producing girl child having X chromosomes. So from this, we can determine that the sex chromosomes of the father determine the sex of an unborn baby. So with this, I hope you all have understood the chapter well. Thank you for your cooperation and attention.